Happy Wednesday. Thanks for being here. We're gonna get going in just a sec. Perfect. Looks like that's all good to go. Awesome. How are you? How's your week been? How you feeling? How was the holiday? If you are signed in and you have the chat feature, just give me a little check-in. Let me know how you're doing. Otherwise, I'm just gonna jump right in. So tonight's session is gonna be a little bit of kind of just like a little pep talk. If you've been with me for a while, I'm probably not going to say anything tonight that you haven't heard me say before. But as you know, we learn by repetition, and I think that this is a message that we could all use, myself included, especially coming back from a holiday and kind of trying to get back in the swing of things. So I want to talk about our feelings. We're going to talk about feelings tonight. But specifically in relation to the journey itself. So I titled our message tonight, Check Your Feelings at the Door. And I want you to know that nothing I'm going to say tonight is intended to be insensitive in any way, but I am going to be direct tonight because I think sometimes we need a little bit of that tough love, especially when we're not exactly where we want to be. So I want to talk about our feelings in relation to the journey. I think that we mistakenly feel like we kind of mistakenly wait to feel like doing it. We wait until we feel like we want to make the right choices. And that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. We're waiting to feel motivated to get started or to get restarted or to get going, whatever the case may be. We're waiting to feel like doing it. That's what I want to talk about. We're waiting to feel motivated, waiting to feel excited, when in fact, most of the time, we need to practice our healthy habits when we don't actually feel like doing it. So what do we do when what we should do, what we know we should be doing, isn't what we feel like doing? What do we do then? So I say this with all of the love in my heart for you because I want you to be successful. If you don't feel like doing it, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if you don't feel like doing it. Who cares if you don't feel like doing it? Now pause, you know I care about you. I'm not saying who cares about you. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know I love you. I wouldn't be here if I didn't care about you and care about your journey and care about your overall health and wellness and your success on this journey. What I'm talking about is who cares if you don't feel like it? It doesn't matter if we don't feel like it. We can't rely on that. So we're going to delve into that tonight. So as mature and responsible adults, we spend a huge part of our day doing things out of obligation, out of responsibility, whether we feel like it or not. This is something that we know how to do. We know how to do what needs to be done, whether or not we feel like it. We know how to do that. Most of us don't always feel like going to work every day, but we go anyway. Most of us don't feel like cleaning our houses or stopping to put gas in our cars. We definitely, myself, certainly I don't feel like paying $50 to fill up the gas tank. I don't know how much gas is where you live, but it's like astronomical in California right now. It's absurd. And I don't feel like paying that much money to fill up my gas tank, but guess what? I do it anyway because I need the gas in my car to get where I want to go. I can't control what the price of gas is. It might not feel worth it to me, but I'm going to pay the cost because I have to. I don't have a choice. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've used this analogy before, the one that I'm about to use. I'm using it again because it is so true. I never feel like writing my rent check. I hate my rent check. It's due today. I hate it. Living in California, my rent is literally half of my income. You know, there's that like financial planning percentage, just your housing is supposed to be 20 to 30% of your income or something. Mine is literally 50%. Living in California is absolutely absurd financially sometimes. But you know, I would much rather use that money for something fun. But every month I write my rent check because I'm a responsible adult and I don't want to get evicted. I want to be able to stay in my house. So it doesn't really matter if I don't feel like paying that money to live here. I do it anyway. I never want to clean my toilets. That's never something that I look forward to doing. But I do it anyway because I don't want to have gross toilets in my house. And so I do it regardless of how I feel. We have to start looking at the journey in the same way. We have to start seeing it as our grown-up responsibility. And we have to just do it, regardless of how we feel at any given moment. We may not want to track. We may not want to plan meals. We may not want to make the healthy choice. But we also don't want to stay stuck where we are. So we have to do things. We are left with the decision that we have to do things that we don't always feel like doing. You may not always feel like walking out these healthy habits. We have to grow up enough to do them anyway, even if we don't feel like it. Stop waiting to feel like it. That's my message to you tonight. The thing is, speaking only for myself, I'm always going to prefer baked goods over broccoli. I'm always going to want a bacon cheeseburger more than I want a baked chicken breast. I'm always going to be drawn to those things and I'm always going to desire them more. But ultimately, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if that's the thing that I want more? Chicken and broccoli is not going to kill me. After I choose them, I'm going to feel strong. I'm going to feel proud. I'm going to feel in control. We have to play the long game, okay? We cannot be so focused on what we want in the moment. We have to choose what is best for us long term over what feels good right now, what we desire right now in the moment. For some reason, when it comes to the journey, we revert to childlike behaviors. We want what we want and we want it right now. We throw tantrums when we have to sacrifice our treats for our health or for the journey. So I want to take a moment and really think about how ridiculous that is. That we're going to sacrifice our goals. We're going to sacrifice our health, our well-being, the pride that we have in ourselves when we do what we know we're supposed to do. We're willing to sacrifice that for what? For a cookie? It's when you pause and think about it, it's absurd. And yet we do it all the time. And I say we because I'm talking to myself too, you guys. This is not, please don't take this as some condescending message where I'm not preaching at you. I'm preaching to myself too. I know these truths because I am living them as well. Okay? So for some reason, when it comes to the journey, we revert to our childlike behaviors, right? We tell ourselves and we tell other people sometimes that we're powerless against certain foods. I just can't control myself, or I can't stop once I start. I can't. I just don't have any willpower. I don't have any control. It calls my name. I see it and I want to eat it and I have to. So we're playing this tape where we are believing this tape that we don't have any power. But the truth is that you are infinitely powerful, okay? You have the ability to make a different choice. It's just a choice. It's a choice. It's just food, right? We're making it bigger than it needs to be. We make countless choices every day in all aspects of our life, regardless of our feelings. We make the choices that we need to make regardless of our feelings because we're grown-ups. We have to apply that to the journey. There's always a healthier choice to be made. We use every excuse in the book to avoid our healthy choices. We say we don't have time. Maybe someone else is buying the food and so they get to choose the restaurant. Maybe the event is being catered, so we don't control what food is there. Our excuses are endless. But the truth is that even fast food restaurants have salads and grilled chicken and baked potatoes and other healthier options. We really have no excuse. There is always a healthier choice to be made. The truth is that we just don't want to make it. So we need to get really honest with ourselves. We have to be really, really honest with ourselves about the choices that we're making and why we are making those choices. The reality is, like I said, we're acting like children. We want what we want and we want it now, but we can do better. We can do better than this. We must do better than this if we want to experience the success of a long-term healthy journey. If we want to live our lives at a healthy weight, we have to get comfortable telling ourselves no, or not yet, or not right now, or another day. We have to be comfortable with some form of discipline. We need to befriend discipline and allow it to have authority in our lives. We have to. There's no other way around it. We have to get over these excuses, you guys. I'm hearing so many of them these days, which is why I'm feeling so passionate about this message tonight. And when I say I'm hearing them, I do not only mean from my clients, I mean from myself too. I'm catching myself with the things I'm saying to myself, and I'm like, girl, you know better than that. You know better. You are stronger than that. You have more control than that. Come on, let's get real. Let's get real. So my challenge to you is, let's get real this week. Let's get real with ourselves about our excuses, about our responsibilities. Let's stop waiting to feel like doing it. You might never feel like doing it. You might never feel like making the healthy choice. You might never feel like chicken and broccoli. But the reality is we need to have chicken and broccoli sometimes if we're going to have a successful journey. Sometimes I need to have fish and asparagus instead of whatever the other thing, the pizza or whatever it is. Sometimes we have to make that harder choice. That's the only way to be successful. We can't have every single thing we want. That's just the reality. You have the ability to make a different choice. It's just a choice. We use every excuse in the book to avoid our healthy choices. We say we don't have time, someone else is buying, the event was catered, excuses. The truth is that we have no excuse. We can do better. Making healthy choices is like a muscle that must be used repeatedly in order to grow stronger. The more healthy choices we make, the easier they get, because we are growing stronger and more resilient, right? So the more we do it, the stronger we get. The more right choices we make, the easier it becomes to make another right choice, because we're living in the fruit of that healthy choice. We're understanding how good we feel when we're proud of ourselves. When we weigh in and when we're happy with the result instead of upset, Let me check this little message. I was just saying this. We don't always like doing things, but we like the results. We don't like working out, but we like being strong. We don't like doing dishes, but we like eating off of clean dishes. Exactly. We have to get comfortable with doing some things that we don't like doing. We're not going to love every minute of this journey. Every minute of this journey is not a carnival. It takes hard work. We have to embrace that and make peace with it. Make peace with the fact that it's not always going to be fun. So what? Is every part of your life fun? Is everything you do fun? No, a lot of it is about responsibility and maturity. We have to apply that to the journey in order to be successful long term. So like I said, making healthy choices is like a muscle. We have to work that muscle out. We have to practice. We have to practice making healthy choices when we don't feel like it. And the more we do that, the stronger we get, and then the easier it gets to do those things. So let's talk about our action plan for this week, okay? So this week, I would like you to please, number 1, journal through your most common excuses. What are you telling yourself? What are the excuses that you're telling yourself of why you can't make the right choice, why you're not being successful right now? What are you telling yourself? And then the second part of that is, but what is the truth? So I want you to journal through, here's what I'm saying to myself. Here's the excuses that I'm making for myself, but what is the truth? So maybe what you're saying to yourself is, well, I didn't have time to cook a healthy dinner, so I had to go through the drive-through, so of course I'm going to end up with a burger and fries. I can't make a better choice than that. But the truth is that the place that you drove through has better choices than a burger and fries. If they probably had a salad with grilled chicken. Almost every fast food restaurant out there now has some form of salad with grilled chicken. You could have made a better choice. You just didn't want to. You just didn't want to. And that's okay, but let's be honest with ourselves about it. Let's practice radical honesty, okay? So 1, journal through your most common excuses. What are you telling yourself? And what is the actual truth, okay? 2, I would like you to list 3 responsibilities that you have in your life, that you do on a regular basis in your life, that you don't necessarily ever feel like. You may not ever feel like it. For me, mine would be paying my rent, doing the dishes, and waking up early when my son needs me. I'd rather sleep in. When it's not a work day and my son's waking up with me, I would rather sleep in. But because I want to be a good mother and I want to be there for him, I'm going to get up when he gets up because he needs me to. Okay? So those are my 3 responsibilities that I don't necessarily feel like doing, but I do them on a regular basis because I'm a grown-up and they're my responsibilities. So I want you to list your 3 responsibilities that you don't necessarily feel like doing, but you do them anyway. Then I want you to meditate after you have those listed. I want you to, when I say meditate, I just mean think about them. Think about those things. Meditate on your ability to overcome your feelings in favor of discipline. So if yours is, I really hate doing the dishes, but I do the dishes because I want there to be clean dishes in my house. I want you to think about that. I want you to take a minute and pause and think about it. You know, even when I don't feel like doing the dishes, I definitely get up and do them. I'm capable of doing a thing that I don't feel like doing. I want you to think through that. Okay, so 2 is list 3 responsibilities that you don't necessarily feel like doing, but that you faithfully do, and meditate on your ability to overcome your feelings in order to do those things. And then 3, I want you to think, what is one habit that you rarely feel like doing in relation to the journey that you can commit to doing faithfully this week? So maybe it's tracking. Maybe you never feel like tracking. Tracking is always a chore to you. You rarely do it because it feels burdensome and bothersome and you just can't be bothered to track. It's too annoying. I want you to, in light of what we've talked about tonight, I want you to commit to doing that thing. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe you feel like you don't have time for exercise, but really in all reality, how often do we waste 10 or 15 minutes scrolling the internet, right? It's so easy to waste 10 or 15 minutes scrolling the internet. Well, what if you just went for a 15-minute walk instead? This is what I'm talking about when I say that we make excuses. We make so many excuses. Time is a huge one. I didn't have time. I didn't have time to cook. Okay, but if you need to pick up some food, you can just as quickly pick up a rotisserie chicken and a bag of microwave steamed vegetables. You can do that just as quickly as going through the drive-thru and have a healthy meal for yourself and your family. So we have these tapes that we play, these excuses that we make, when really there is another truth. So I want you to be thinking about those this week. So 1, journal through your most common excuses. What are you telling yourself and what is the actual truth? 2, I want you to list 3 responsibilities that you do on a regular basis, even when you don't feel like it. And think about your ability to overcome your feelings in favor of discipline and responsibility. And then 3, ask yourself, what is one habit that you just really struggle to do that you can commit to this week, that you can commit to overcoming your feelings in favor of discipline? Okay? That's it, you guys. I hope that you consider checking your feelings at the door this week, that we put our feelings on the back burner and recognize that it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel, because don't wait to feel like doing this. You're never going to feel like it all the time. At some point, we're going to have to push through those feelings in favor of discipline, in favor of following through with our responsibilities, the promises that you made to yourself about wanting to live a healthier life. We have to value that higher than how we feel in the moment. We're going to have to grow up a little bit. Okay, you guys? Thank you so much. I hope you know that everything that I say to you is out of love and wanting you to be your most successful self, have your most successful journey, and that I am always, always, always speaking to myself when I'm speaking to you as well. And I needed this reminder as much as any of my members did. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Let's let go of our feelings and focus on discipline instead. All right, that's it. You can do this. I believe in you. I love you, and I'll see you next week.